So if you're anything like me, then you probably have an just infinite amount of digital photos that just sit in folders or on your phone or on flash drives, Lightroom catalog, whatever, and that is an issue that I am trying to solve, and I wanted to make a video about a possible solution that I have found to this problem. And that comes in the form of photo albums. Now, these are a really great way to preserve your work as a photographer and to preserve memories. This one right here is actually photos from a recent trip to Colorado that I took with my family. And so these types of albums are really great to have for memories and just storing specific trips like I have here. Or you can do what I've done in these photo albums and just store all of your work. So I actually update these every once in a while, where I'll just get 100 prints every couple months of my past favorite photos of anything, whatever it may be, and I'll just put them in an album. And I'll just keep adding to them until I fill it up, and then I'll buy the next one. I am currently working on filling my third album, and I've been doing photography for less than 3 years. So just to give you an idea of the rate at which I fill these albums up, but this is a really great way to store your work. First of all, it preserves your photos, because if it's sitting in a digital catalog, it's going to get lost. You're probably not going to have as easy of time finding it again. Whereas these, I will actually go and pick these up off of the shelf every once in a while and actually page through them. And it's really interesting to look back at photos I wouldn't have otherwise looked at if they were just on my Lightroom catalog from 2 years ago. I would have never brought those up. Whereas these photo albums I do actually flip through. And they're great to have because I can actually look at my old work and compare it to my previous work and think about how I might have taken that photo differently or edited it differently if I had done it today. The nice thing about these photo albums is they're a pretty low cost. I got this album for $10, and I think this one was maybe $20 if you count some add-on page bundle that I bought so that I could have more pages in it. And the capacity of these are huge. These hold a lot of photos. But the nice thing about these ones is that the pages are a little bit larger. There's actually some photos that I got that were in different photo sizes. So it's not all 4x6s. So I'm able to do 8x10s on one page, or 5x7s, or really any size that you want. As you can see, I've got 4x4s as the cover art here. Between the print costs and the actual album costs, it's not terrible. I think it is well worthwhile to store and preserve your work in a physical, tangible form that you can actually go and page through years later and rediscover those photos that otherwise would have been lost. So yeah, if you're looking for a way to store your photos, I think that this is it, and this is the solution that I've been using for a while, and I really enjoy it because it's a great way to just compile all my work and a lot of my favorite photos just into one spot where I can just look through them. Now, I think that I'll probably go over a few tips I could give you that might help you if you plan on putting together an album at all. First of all, you should probably know that sometimes you might want to put in some organization work into organizing the photos through the album. For these trip albums that I have here, I actually sorted them based on the days that I took that photo during the trip. So as you look through the album, you're looking at it chronologically from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. I haven't labeled them that way, but I just remember them that way. And so for me, it's easier to look through that album because I know that it's happening chronologically, and I can look through the trip through the timeline that it happened in. And so that's kind of how I've organized these. Now, as for these ones, I don't really organize them too much. I kind of just throw photos in them whenever, but I do organize them based on trip. So these 4 photos are all from the same location and the same day, and I just decided to put them nearby on pages so that they would all be close together based on that time of day and location. When I actually get my prints, I'll actually lay them all out on the floor, and I will put it down based on either the day that I took them, if it was a trip where I know that I had a specific number of days. But if it's just a collection of random photos over the course of a year like I have here, then it'll more be similar locations, or maybe it was all shot on the same film stock. But I do think it is worth organizing these so that they don't end up just being a huge mess. What I like about these is that it's just a very random collection of my favorite shots over the course of a year. If you're gonna put together photo albums, one other thing I would recommend is getting different print sizes and to vary those print sizes. And the reason for that is because otherwise it all ends up looking the same. So if you look through here, it's just 2 photos. And if I were to have done that all the way through the entire album, just 2 4x6s on every single page, like I usually do for these other albums, it can end up a little bit boring. For this recent album that I put together, I tried to vary things a little bit. So right here you can see I actually was able to fit 3 4x6s. And then you can see here I added an 8x10 and then I had 2 photos on the other page. And so that's another way that you can keep it kind of interesting, is just changing print sizes and also just laying things out differently, just to keep it visually interesting as you're flipping through. So making photo albums is not only just a great way to store your memories and to store your favorite photos, but it's also just a great way to have fun using and doing something with your work. If you've put a lot of time and effort into taking a photo, you might as well use it for something, put it into a print form in an album where you'll actually see it. And even just the act of organizing all these photos from my recent trip and actually putting them into an album has allowed me to kind of rediscover some of these photos, and a lot of ones that I otherwise totally forgot about. And so it's also just really fun to put these albums together and to rediscover all those photos as you're putting the album together, not just as you're looking at it later down the road. So if you're looking for a fun thing to do with your photos other than just post them on social media or forget about them into an infinite photo library, I can definitely recommend that you put together a photo album. It's a great way and a fun way to use your photos. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. I think I'll end this video here. Have a great day and happy shooting.